Okay, so that is the way to figure out. What are the ways to figure out what is the passengers who are likely to take the high-speed train when the transportation tool become available. Of course, a high-speed rail system also has to consider more than what the benefit to the passengers. You also have to consider what is the impact to the total society. And you have to consider at different time, and you have to consider different people or different group. And so there are this kind of economic impact we have to consider would be what is the economic impact to the society during the construction time and during the operation time. So you can consider that how many jobs can be created during the construction time, reduce of the jobless rate and so on and so forth, increase of the GDP and so on and so forth. You can also consider during the operation time what jobs are created and so on and so forth. Then you can also consider the benefit. You can also consider and include the benefit of the people who are using it, which is time saving and more productive and so on and so forth. You can also consider the non-users, even the highway drivers. They also benefit because of less cars on the road. You can consider that. And also you can try to consider the wider economic impact. This would be like the reduction of the oil import, the environmental factors, less carbon dioxide emission, less air pollution, and you can also consider some kind of elimination cost, avoidance cost, such as you don't have to build another airport or another freeway and so on and so forth. So this can be considered as benefit. And so if you consider all this, then all the benefit to the system and to the society can be included. There are many of these guides. Told us how to do this. One of the guides which you can refer to is by the Department for Transport of UK. They have a transportation appraisal guide, particularly for rail. And then you can try to see how they try to evaluate different categories, including user and non-user, or customer user and business user. And then you can they also consider what is to the private party, what is to the government, and you can try to include the air quality improvement, the greenhouse effect, comfortness, or accident reliability, less fatality on the railroad, and so on and so forth, or avoidance cost. So there are enough of this type of guideline for railroad project. For the United States, FRA also have this type of guideline you can use to evaluate what is the total benefit of a high-speed rail system. Then you have this cost from the previous discussion, and you have the benefit from this type of the evaluation. Then you can try to do a cost and benefit evaluation and see whether the benefit will worth a while to spend such a cost. and there are some kind of ratio. For instance, like if the ratio of cost and benefit that's now 1.5 is not too good. If it's greater than 2 is good, and so on and so forth. So there are this type of criteria, and you can try to utilize it and choose the best one for your evaluation. Okay, so after that, if it was worthwhile to do it, to build such a high-speed system, then you have to look into what is the method, how to deliver it. We can try to see, actually, there are so many high-speed rail projects being built, and how they did it to start with. Okay, so if we look back at the history, how people developed their high-speed rail, then probably what we can find out is this. In the first high-speed rail, or the second in Japan, or the second high-speed rail in France, or some of the high-speed rail built in that early stage, most of them are public design, public build, public finance, and public operate. In other words, it's a government business. It's a government which design, build, finance, and operated. And this happened to the French railroad, the first high-speed rail in France, which is operated, it's designed, built, financed, and operated by SNCF. In Japan, it's the same. The first, the Tokaido Shinkansen, connecting Tokyo to Osaka, is designed, built, financed, and operated by the Japanese National Railroad, and that was government. Okay, so this basically, it was public work. It was public work in the beginning. We can also see that it changed. It's changed after 1980s, not after 1970s, when Japan National Railroad became broke. And the Japan government privatized the Japan Railroad, Japan National Railroad. They privatized it. After the privatization, the government took over the building and maintenance of the infrastructure, and then the privatized 6 GRs will be operating the trains on the government government-owned infrastructure. And so that becoming a new model. This same new model also happened in Europe after 1980s, when European Union tried to privatize, tried to liberalize the railroad business in Europe. And so the infrastructure owner and the operation are separated. Okay, so infrastructure manager or owner would provide access to, they can provide access to different operator, and then the operator only had to pay the access fee to the infrastructure manager, and they can go move from different country, from one country to another country in Europe. Okay, so that's the liberalization of the railroad business in Europe, which also created another model of implement the project. Okay, the government responsible for building the infrastructure, and the operator will come in responsible for the train and the operation of the system. So that is the kind of the second model being built. And then another one which is more aggressive than this is the model which is used in Channel Tunnel. You have one private party to do the construction and owner maintenance of this Channel Tunnel. And then you have another party which comes in to run the trains through the Qiangyou Tunnel. They can be the Eurostar, and they can be the freight railroad business, and they can later on including the Deutsche Bahn, or the German train will running through the Qiangyou Tunnel too. So this is a second type of the privatization model, or the private-public partnership type. Okay, and then the most aggressive one, the most aggressive PPP or the public-private partnership being the Taiwan model, which is a private concessionaire comes in, build, operate, and finance the whole system. Okay, so making the design, build, operation, maintenance, and financing all within one concessionaire's responsibility, and that's the most aggressive one among all the four. Okay, and so there are four models, and then you can in this part you have to consider the advantage of one way or the other, or looking into the society, whether the society's legal system is mature enough for one type or the other. Okay, so that would be another another subject which should be considered in planning such a system.